you just cringe and it's like shit. Then they interviewed Rob Heaton did part 8. Adam Marcus, who did Jason Goes to Hell, and I'm sorry, I will always love Jason Goes to Hell. Sue me on it. I love Jason Goes to Hell. And Adam Marcus, you know, he knows that a lot of people hate his movie. He knows that a lot of people take issue on it, but he has a lot of energy. He had fun with it, and I don't know, he seemed like a nice guy, and you know, that guy deserves another shot. You know, I like the movie. But James Isaac, who did Jason X, talked about how, you know, he should have fought harder with the script, because the original script of Jason X was like a sort of a little bit darker, a little bit, you know, more dark comedy aspects. You know, like it was different. And then they had like a little bit with Marcus Nispel, who did the remake. It's like 5 minutes long. And again, I don't know why Steve Meyer didn't do it, but it was really weird. Also on this too, you have Dread from the Lake, more stories from Camp Crystal Lake, like 20 minutes of like little bits. For instance, you have they talk about, you know, homoerotic shaving. That scene in Jason Goes to Hell where the guy gets shaved, and Adam Marcus goes, "The reason I did it because it's fucked up, and I knew 15 years later people will still be thinking about it, still be mentioning it." And you have that dumbass from Dread Central, homoerotic shaving. It's like, dude, who the fuck do you think you are? I don't give a fuck about Dread Central guy, douchebag. Pisses me off. It's like, let's give his time to some fucking people who actually worked on the movie so I can get some more info on the films. But, hell, what do I know? But also one, I don't want to forget to mention Adrienne King. Very sad story about her stalker. About how it came to a point where she had a gun to her head. And she was able to talk the guy down. Or like the guy would send pictures of what she had done the day before or the week before. And like she was even, you know, she was misting up in tears. And it was very sad and very serious and very heartbreaking thing to watch. But she also talked about how the fans really helped and, you know, really helped her out. And it was very sad, so. But, you know, you have stuff like that, and they talk with some of the writers, like Victor Miller, talking about, he's pretty, you know, straight out, like, yeah, we ripped off Halloween, and the ending we ripped off for Carrie. You know, it's almost shot for shot, you know. So I like the Victor Miller sort of bluntness. You have the writer of Part 4, and not much to it. You had the writer Todd Farmer talking about how in Jason X, like, he didn't know, but he knows now how, you know, you could tell. I mean, you've heard stories. I mean, they fucked with Jason X scripts. I love Jason X. I think it's just a fun movie. Don't take it seriously. I love, you know, I'll do Friday the 13th review sometime again, so they'll be on the channel again sometime down the road, but not anytime soon, but down the road. But it's one of those things where, I mean, you can tell. I mean, they, you know, you have 4 people, 5 people, you know, pulling different directions, and you know, but some interesting stuff. My favorite was with Damian Shannon and Mark Swift, who did the remake and they did Freddy vs. Jason. And I love those guys. I wish they would have done a commentary for Freddy vs. Jason. They're very funny, very down-to-earth guys, seem very nice. And they talk about how Freddy vs. Jason was a little more cartoony than they thought it would be. How they had written on the script, you know, that they never said that Jason was afraid of water. One of them is like, I just want to say, we never wrote that Jason was afraid of water. We just had this little 10-second thing where Jason thinks about, you know, that he had drowned. But he was very, like, they even mentioned, like, well, yeah, in Part 6 he was walking in water and stuff, so I thought that was very funny. And how they had written cameo Betsy Palmer and they wouldn't get her, and they're like, oh, they probably off her scale, which is a shitty thing that they did. You know, and the reboot, I mean, they just, one thing I realized is that you can't really blame the writer if a movie's shitty, because they get changed so much, and so many committees and different people have different ideas, that You know, you can't really blame the script. And I like Freddy vs. Jason. Like I said, I like it. It's a fun movie. Like, I think originally also they had written a scene at the ending which had a cameo from Pinhead, but there was rights issues. But I don't know, a lot of good information, and they really play off each other well. And I really like those guys. Let's see. Other stuff you have. You have director Joseph Zito and the guy who played Rob from Part 4. They go back to the location, look at the locations from the final chapter. There's also another little one where the girl who played one of the bikers, I think her character name was Fox, played the female biker in Part 3. They go back to the location and revisit it, and this is pretty cool stuff. The other stuff is not much to run home about. You get like some fan films, like I don't read it, just 30 seconds, Freddy vs. Jason 30 seconds with bunnies. It's cute. The Angry Video Game Nerd Friday the 13th episode, which basically they don't show the whole thing, and you might as well just watch it here on YouTube because they show the whole thing. Some really stupid ones, like a mock commercial for a drug of depression, and one about Jason's forgotten brother. Just really shitty, stupid ones. This dumb fucking thing, Friday the 13th in 4 minutes, which is basically douchebag Joe Lynch, the douchebag from Dread Central, that motherfucker, and Adam Green talking about how, you know, all the Friday the 13th films, 1 through Freddy vs. Jason, in under 4 minutes. And it's just like, once again, people trying to be cool, trying to be funny, and just failing. This is 4 minutes that we could have interviewed some of the characters from the other films. You know, interview Ted from Part 4. Interview that guy and how it was working with Crispin Glover, bouncing stuff off back and forth. Or interview more with Amy Steele. Interview more with, I mean that's the thing. You get little good bits like Steve Dash and Amy Steele talking about how, you know, she had accidentally cut his finger, and he had gone to the emergency room a lot, and so the scene where, you know, in the movie he has the machete in the shoulder, they played a trick on the hospital, and he walks in with the machete in, and they're all like, oh. He's like, well, the problem is I have a headache, you know. That's the cool little bits in it we want to see, and not fucking the guy who directed Ron Turd 2 and Adam Douchebag Green and the dumbass from Dread Central. I don't give a fuck about them. Oh, Jason Goes to Hell sucks, and Friday the 13th Part 5 sucks, and you know what? Hatchet and Ron Turd 2 and Dread Central sucks. How about that? Now get the fuck out of my face. Jason Takes Comic-Con, which is basically them sort of Dread Central once again, becoming one of my least favorite fucking sites now. Interviewing fucking I'm sure if someone from Dread Central watched this, they only imagine. No offense. Maybe it is, I don't know, but I guess it's jealousy, I don't know. Probably is, so I don't give a fuck. But I've just interviewed some people for the remake. A guide to Camp Crystal Lake, which a bunch of people just basically pointless fucking shit. Saying, basically a bunch of people, like actors, directors, you know, basically look at the camera, giving advice. They say a line like, always use the buddy system, or never show your breasts, or, you know, it's just pointless. Once again, a pointless feature. How about a feature on the fucking TV series? How about a feature on the comic books that was made? How about a feature on, you know, just the merchandise? Here's some, you know, they talk a little bit on that, but just have a 4-minute feature on that. Not this bullshit. They have one that's a little bit interesting about how, I guess in Universal Studios, there's the Horror Nights. It's a really cool thing where it's like a Friday the 13th haunted house where they recreate the deaths and people go in, and it's a really cool place. I would love to go there. You have this shitty thing called Shelley Lives. It's like a fake commercial with the guy who played Shelley in Part 3, because he's a lawyer in real life, saying, "Oh, I'm a lawyer," and you know, people who die from Jason, you could do this pointless and stupid. But I know I'm not sure if this is part 2 or part 3. I know I've done a lot of ranting on this documentary, because if I had to be honest, out of all the 3, this is the least successful, because you have so many stories, so many films, you got so many parts. You got the girl who was killed in part 3 eating a banana. You got the guy in part 2 who was at the bar. Well, I think his name was Ted. I forget. In part 2, and he stayed there and he survived. And you got the guy who played Rob. Who had the machete and he was looking for his sister from part 4. You do give interviews, and I'm sure they would give interesting stories.